All right, so you're getting ready for a Conveyance Clerk interview. Congratulations. We've got all your RoleCatcher resources right here, career guides, interview prep, even their AI is awesome. And today we're diving deep into what you need to know to ace this interview.
It's all about strategy.
Okay.
It's not just knowing all the answers, it's about understanding what's behind those questions. Think of it like a mental chess match where you anticipate the interviewer's next move.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, so first things first, what exactly does a conveyance clerk even do? I mean, it sounds like more than just pushing paper.
Oh, way more. Think of it as being the conductor of an orchestra, but instead of instruments, you're orchestrating legal documents and ensuring property transfers happen seamlessly. You're essentially the guardian of ensuring all the legal I's are dotted and plus are crossed when property ownership changes hands.
Okay, got it. So accuracy is key here, right? RoleCatcher highlights reading comprehension and active listening as top skills.
Yeah.
Why are those so important?
Well, think about it. You're poring over contracts, titles, tons of legal jargon. Misinterpreting something could have huge consequences. And active listening. That's about understanding your client's needs, concerns, and sometimes even reading between the lines to anticipate potential issues.
That makes sense. RoleCatcher also emphasizes law and government knowledge at 58%. Is this about knowing specific laws, or is it something broader?
It's about having a solid foundation. You don't need to be a lawyer, but you do need to grasp the basic principles of property law transfer processes, things like that. It's about speaking the language and understanding the playing field.
Okay, let's dive into the interview itself. RoleCatcher gives us a ton of sample questions. Let's start with a common one. What motivated you to apply for this role?
This is where you go beyond the generic, I love the legal field. Connect your answer to something specific about this company or position. Did their website mention a commitment to sustainable practices? Do they specialize in a type of property transfer that interests you? Find that hook.
So I could say, I was drawn to this company's focus on using technology to streamline the conveyancing process, and I'm eager to contribute my skills to that innovative approach.
Perfect. That shows you've done your research and you're genuinely interested in their way of doing things. Now imagine they follow up with, what type of technology are you familiar with in this field?
Ooh, a follow-up. I need to be ready to talk about specific software or platforms.
Exactly. That's where doing your homework on industry trends pays off. If you can mention a software they use, even better.
Okay, on to another question. How do you ensure accuracy in your work? I feel like everyone says they're detail-oriented. How do I stand out here?
Anyone can say they're detail-oriented, but you need to prove it. Describe a system, double-checking entries, specific software you use, even a personal proofreading technique.
So instead of just saying, I'm careful, I can say, I follow a 3-step process. First, I use a detailed checklist to ensure I've gathered all necessary documents. Then I double-check all data entry against source documents. Finally, I use grammar and spell check tools for an extra layer of accuracy.
Excellent. You've not only shown you're meticulous, but you've given them a tangible process. Now they might ask, what do you do if you still find a mistake after all those steps?
Ooh, good one. I'd want to highlight my problem-solving skills and demonstrate accountability. Perhaps something like, I immediately flag the error, take steps to correct it, and inform the relevant parties to ensure transparency and minimize any potential impact.
Exactly. You've shown that you're not only accurate, but also responsible and proactive.
Okay, let's tackle question number 3. How do you handle a situation where a client is unhappy with the process? This sounds like a potential minefield.
It can be, but it's also a chance to shine. Focus on empathy communication and finding solutions. Mention your active listening skills, your ability to stay calm under pressure, and your commitment to finding a resolution that meets everyone's needs.
So I could say, I would first acknowledge their frustration and listen carefully to understand their concerns. Then I would explain the process clearly and answer any questions they have. If the issue is something within my control, I'd take steps to resolve it. If it's outside my scope, I'd escalate it to the appropriate person while keeping the client informed and reassured.
That's a great approach. You're showing them that you can handle a difficult situation with grace and professionalism. Now imagine they ask, can you give me a specific example of a time you had to deal with a difficult client and how you resolved the situation?
That's where having a real-life example ready to go would be helpful. Maybe a time I successfully navigated a misunderstanding or helped a client through a complex process.
Exactly. Having those anecdotes prepared makes you sound more genuine and experienced. Now, before we move on to more questions, let's take a quick detour to talk about how RoleCatcher's AI can help with all of this.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. RoleCatcher's AI actually analyzes job descriptions to identify key skills, Right.
It's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket. You input a job description, and the AI dissects it, pulling out the most important skills and qualifications.
So it's not just about generic interview tips. It's tailored to this specific role.
Precisely. Let's say the job description emphasizes attention to detail and communication skills. RoleCatcher's AI would then analyze your resume and highlight areas where you could strengthen those points.
So maybe I should add a bullet point about my experience proofreading legal documents or my success in collaborating with clients on complex transactions.
Exactly. The AI helps you tailor your resume to perfectly match what they're looking for. But it gets even cooler. You can actually practice your interview answers with the AI, and it gives you feedback.
Hold on. It actually helps you formulate your answers. Tell me more.
You type in a sample interview question like the ones we're discussing, and the AI analyzes your response. It'll suggest improvements, highlight keywords to include, and even assess your tone and delivery.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like having a virtual mock interview with expert feedback. Okay, back to those interview questions. Let's move on to question number 4.
All right, question number 4. Describe a time you had to work under pressure to meet a tight deadline. This is a classic. They want to see how you handle stress.
Yeah, okay. I know I need to showcase my organizational skills, but how do I make my answer stand out?
Choose a specific situation where the stakes were high and walk them through your process. Did you prioritize tasks? Delegate effectively. Stay calm and focused. Give them a glimpse into your problem-solving mindset.
I could talk about a time when I had to prepare a large volume of legal documents for a closing that was suddenly moved up. I could explain how I quickly assessed the situation, created a prioritized task list, and worked collaboratively with my team to ensure everything was completed accurately and on time, even under pressure.
Perfect. You've demonstrated not only your ability to work under pressure, but also your teamwork and leadership skills. Now imagine they ask, what did you learn from that experience?
I could say that I learned the importance of clear communication, proactive planning, and the power of a supportive team when facing unexpected challenges.
Great. You've turned a stressful situation into a learning opportunity. Interviewers love that. Let's move on to question number 5. How do you stay up to date with changes in property law or industry regulations?
This one feels important, especially since the legal landscape is always evolving.
Absolutely. This is where you show your commitment to professional growth. Mention specific resources you use. Legal journals, industry websites, professional organizations, even relevant podcasts.
So instead of just saying, I read legal news, I could say, I subscribe to the Conveyancer and Property Law Journal, and I regularly attend webinars hosted by the American Land Title Association to stay informed about the latest developments and best practices in the field.
Now you're talking. You've shown them you're proactive and dedicated to staying current. They might even follow up with, what's a recent industry trend that you've been following?
Oh, that's where being genuinely interested in the field comes in handy. I'd need to have an informed opinion on something like the rise of digital closings or the impact of blockchain technology on property transactions.
Exactly. This is another area where RoleCatcher's AI can be incredibly helpful. Their resources often include summaries of current trends and challenges, saving you hours of research time.
That's so valuable. It's like having a shortcut to becoming an industry expert.
It is. Now let's tackle question number 6. What are your salary expectations for this role? This one always feels a bit awkward.
Yeah, I agree. How do I approach this without underselling myself or seeming out of touch?
First, do your research. Websites like Glassdoor and Salary.com can give you a range for conveyance clerk salaries in your area. Consider your experience level and any specialized skills you bring.
So I could say something like, based on my research and experience, I'm seeking a salary in the range of, insert range here, but I'm open to discussing further based on the specific responsibilities and growth opportunities of the role.
That's a great approach. You've acknowledged their question, provided a realistic range, and left the door open for negotiation. Now they might ask, what are your long-term career goals?
This is where I connect my aspirations to the company's growth potential, right?
Exactly. Mention how you see this role as a stepping stone to becoming a licensed conveyancer, or even a conveyancing solicitor, perhaps, within their firm.
I could say, I'm excited about the potential for growth within this company. I'm particularly interested in pursuing further qualifications to become a licensed conveyancer in the future, and I believe this role would provide a solid foundation for that career path.
That's a fantastic response. It shows ambition, a commitment to professional development, and a genuine interest in building a long-term career with their company. Now let's move on to our final question.
All right, question number 7, and this is a big one. Do you have any questions for us? This isn't just a formality, is it?
Absolutely not. This is your chance to shine, show you've been paying attention, and that you're genuinely interested in this specific company.
So what kind of questions should I even ask? I don't want to sound generic or unprepared.
Think about what you want to know about the company culture, their approach to conveyancing, or even the team you'd be working with.
Okay, so instead of asking about benefits or vacation time, which can come later, I could ask something like, how does this company support professional development for conveyance clerks?
Perfect. That shows you're thinking long-term and interested in growth. Or you could ask, what are some of the biggest challenges facing the conveyancing industry right now, and how is this company addressing them?
Oh, that's a good one. It shows I'm aware of industry trends and interested in their strategic approach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's company insights can give you even more ammunition for asking tailored questions.
Oh, right. They often have info on company culture values, even recent news articles. I can use that to craft questions that show I've done my homework.
Exactly. Remember, you're not just trying to impress them, you're also gathering information to see if this is the right fit for you.
That's such a good point. It's a two-way street. Okay, before we wrap up, I'm curious, what about the career path beyond this role? RoleCatcher mentions becoming a licensed conveyancer. What does that involve?
It's a natural progression for many conveyance clerks. It requires additional qualifications and exams, allowing you to handle more complex cases independently.
So it's a step up in terms of responsibility and expertise.
Hmm.
What about the conveyancing solicitor role that was mentioned?
That's a fully qualified lawyer specializing in property law. It requires a law degree and further specialization.
Wow, so there's a real ladder to climb within this field. This is so exciting. I'm starting to see how this role could lead to a fulfilling and challenging career.
And remember, RoleCatcher's career guides outline all of these paths in detail, including the qualifications and steps you'd need to take.
That's amazing. Okay, I think we've covered just about everything. I feel so much more prepared and confident now. It's like a weight has been lifted.
That's what we aim for. Remember, you've got the knowledge, you've got the skills, and you've got RoleCatcher in your corner. Go into that interview and knock it out of the park.
I will. Thank you so much for guiding me through this deep dive. I feel like I've gained a whole new level of understanding and strategy.
It's been my pleasure. And to everyone listening, best of luck on your interview journey. Remember, with the right preparation and the right resources, you can achieve anything you set your mind to.
Absolutely. And don't forget to check out RoleCatcher. Their platform is a game changer for anyone navigating the job market. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.